to kind of take the topic into the slow plant growth, stunted plant growth kind of conversation and talk about a couple points and things to look out for if you're dealing with a plant that's growing slowly or is starting to grow slower than it did. But the first thing that I really dealt with on my first attempt was not having a room that was set up to actually nurture a plant and really get it going. Even to start out as a seedling, it was very cold and it was very dry. It was not a good environment to start. In that closet, I tried to start 2 seeds in 1-gallon pots. I knew that it was not going to be very likely that they were going to survive, so I only did 2 instead of the current 7, which I actually had to start out germinating in a paper towel, get that wet, and after a couple days, the taproots were big enough to where I felt comfortable putting them in soil, and they were all doing super well. And I actually transplanted them today, which is another thing that can go ahead and stunt a plant's growth. Obviously, the shock from a transplant from a fabric pot would have affected it more than the plastic pots, but it still does affect it, and it changes, and it puts different stresses on that plant that otherwise were not there inside of a solo cup like mine were in. I ran into problems later on where my humidity was lower. Once I got that plant, that purple Ferrari, I transplanted first. I took it out into a 1-gallon pot. The 1-gallon pot's not going to fit in the clone dome, so I had to move it outside of the clone dome and put it in a different area. And it was super dry, and I was also having too much light on them, and the nutrients in the organic soil was running out. So I was in a very bad predicament. I was having nutrient deficiencies as well as having my light dimmed too high, and I was also I was overwatering. And all of those things kind of combined together and created a huge disaster of a grow room. So I have a humidifier in there, and I made the mistake of putting it all the way up because I assumed it was a bitch-ass humidifier. And I just knew I needed water in the air, so I was like, fuck it, I'm going to throw it in here, turn it on max, and then go to my 10-hour shift at work. And what I came back to, I didn't decide to come back to this. No one would decide to come back to this. What I came back to was all of my equipment pretty much, none of it died, thankfully. Yeah, all my equipment had like water on it or under it, set it and forget it, just fill it. Hell yeah, man. I love to see it. And it also comes with the controller 69. So you can just control it from the outside. My light's off, temp at 45 for a week. Did your plants survive that? Because I couldn't see mine doing that, especially at the stage they're at now. Oh, that would be absolutely devastating. I'm sorry for you, bro. We got hit running my humidifier right next to my Mars Hydro 55-inch veg tent 2x2. How many plants are you growing in that 2x2, man? How many are you able to fit in there? Because I've got a 5x2. I'm growing 7. And I think the biggest pot I'm going to be able to fit them in is literally a 5-gallon without having to expand the space. And even if I do the 5 gallons, I might have to lower the amount of plants I have in there. My clones, vegging and flowering plants took it like a champ. That's awesome that your clones survived that. I think it would be very hard on a plant. 6 in veg, 2 in flower. I have a separate flower space. That is very good. I don't have a separate flower space right now, so I'm going to be flowering those 7 plants in the room they're in, and I'm not going to be able to take clones. So basically, if I like something in there, I am absolutely screwed, and I won't be able to continue any of those genetics. So needless to say, if they are good, big bummer. And speaking of new genetics, I'm actually going to be doing that genetic shopping stream again. I'm going to take an attempt number 2 at it, except this time we are going to have a laptop charger. You're better at training though. You got experience with filling out that closet. I've never, okay, so have I trained plants before? Absolutely. Have I gotten them to shapes that I wanted them to be? 100%. Have I ever had a confined space I was growing in that I then had to grow plants into the shape of without it getting too clustered and also keeping my environment in check? I have not done that. This is going to be a very new experience for me. That 5x2 area is the bane of my existence if I decide to go the trellis net screen of green route. Because if I decide to do that, I'm going to have everything so perfect or my plants super defoliated. And it's going to be an interesting challenge once I actually get those plants to the point where they're like a month into veg and they're actually showing me what grab some Humboldt CSI. What is that? Is that a genetic? Talking about the genetic conversation? You got this. I appreciate the words of encouragement. Breeder, awesome. I will check them out for sure. I will definitely give it my best shot. I appreciate the word of encouragement. Legion's Laboratory, right? That's how you say it? I can read still. I haven't grown out too many genetics, but I can say that Brothers Grimm Seeds has great genetics for really great prices. That's good to know. Jinx Proof actually drastically decreased the prices of their seeds over there, so I would go check them out as well. If you've never heard of Jinx Proof, I would look into him. He's a pretty cool dude. Attitude carries them. Oh yeah, Jinx Proof is awesome too. Yeah, he was he on the From the Stash podcast? Is that where I originally heard from him from? But yeah, he drastically reduced the prices for the pandemic, and he's selling crazy amount of seeds for crazy good prices. And I heard a lot of his story, and he seems like a solid dude. I see. I'm still wishing you the best of luck. I feel like the Scrog method will save you so much with any light stress. Just getting that super even canopy going, put them into flower earlier. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to put them into flower actually earlier than I've ever put any plants into flower, because never mind the Scrog, I've never actually grown plants this low. I plan on not growing them above, like, what I think the max they're going to get is like 3 or 4 feet. And normally my plants, other than my outdoor, if you guys were there for Croptober, I got a very late start on those plants, so they were super short, but I didn't really have any control over that. But when I did grow my indoor plants, they would at least be 5 to 7 feet, and it would just absolutely go nuts. Oof. All right, I've been going for a half hour just about. Let's see what time we're looking at. Okay, so does anyone have any like ending questions or things they want me to touch on? Because it's getting really late and I'm pretty tired. You can mainline the shit out of it too. That's an opinion. Just get it basically vertical, or option, get it basically vertical. Yeah, I'm trying to I'm gonna low train them really well. I'm gonna mainline them. I'm going to lollipop them. So if you like the video, leave a like, and if you have not subscribed yet, definitely do that. And if you have not joined and became an Express member, I recommend you do that, because if you join and become an Express member, you get exclusive access to content that you otherwise would not be able to see. So hit that join button, $4.99 a month. and get my weekly show as well as other miscellaneous posts and videos that you won't be able to see otherwise. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I will see you next time.